In this video tutorial, we're going to learn about something called a function. In a nutshell, a function is a mechanism inside of JavaScript. You can think of it as a program inside a program, where the big program being the JavaScript engine that we spoke about before, and a function, and there are many functions in JavaScript that you can use to do all kinds of things like count how many letters are in a name, send off emails, all kinds of different things. So besides the fact that JavaScript has many built-in functions, possibly hundreds if not a couple of thousand built-in functions, you can actually create your own custom functions so that you can bunch up your code into reusable packages. So functions allow you to segment your code, and functions allow you to reuse code in a much more efficient manner. So let's jump into some actual function code, and we're going to play with some stuff so you get a better idea of what's going on. So let's jump into some actual JavaScript code, and we're going to work with some functions, create some functions, and along the way I'll slip in some nerd theory details, just enough so that we can move forward and get to some real practical JavaScript. Throughout this series thus far, we've actually used one of the built-in functions in JavaScript, and that is the alert function. So let me get into a few details here. So we're going to create a script block. Angle brackets. There we go. Script language. Let's go JavaScript and type text JavaScript. Now you noticed. Let me just finish this off here, guys. You notice that I added this new attribute. This script block tag set has attributes just like any other HTML tag, and type equals text JavaScript basically tells the interpreter that in between the tags we're going to be writing text that happens to be JavaScript. This is not necessary because when we say language equals JavaScript, the browsers are smart enough to know what to do. But anyway, just to be complete. So we've used this function many times. Alert. And I'll just tell it to say hello. Hello, I'm a function. So let's actually preview this. There we go. Hello, I'm a function. So let's get into a few details here. This is a built-in function, and so the JavaScript knows that it is because it recognizes it. It knows we're dealing with a function because of this, because of the two little brackets after it. This tells JavaScript that this is a function. If we just wrote alert like this, as far as JavaScript is concerned, that would not be a function. As soon as we put the two brackets like that, we got a function. It's always good to end your JavaScript statements. Remember, each line of code in JavaScript is called a statement. It's always good to end them with a semicolon because it knows that that's the end of the line. So we could line up functions like this if we wanted to. So we can go, let me get that out. So hello. So we can go something like this. There we can go. Because I wanted to print text, so I'm putting the quotes, right? Hello, Stefan. So let's see this in action. Hello, I'm a function. Hello, Stefan. And why does it do that? Because here, alert, alert, alert. So you see how I can put them on separate lines, and I can actually include multiple functions on the same line. Functions have a few parts to it. First of all, if you notice, like I said, we have our brackets. In between the brackets, we have something called the arguments, as in you're arguing a point to somebody. Essentially, this is extra information that you're feeding the function to tell it what to do. Each function has its own particular functionality, hence the word function. So alert, that basically just pops open the alert box that we've been seeing many times during this course. So there we go. See, that's all that function does. It pops open this box and it sends optional text to that box. So let me just delete these to make it quicker. So we could take it out and have nothing in here, and it pops open, nothing happens. We can also, let's see if we take out the quotes. Let's go on there. Nothing happens. Let's put in the quotes, see what happens. Function. We got our function thing popping up. You see, when you have no quotes, Internet Explorer tells us here, yes, allow block content. No, Internet Explorer is just blank. Whereas with Firefox, it doesn't display any box at all. You see how Firefox and Internet Explorer have slightly different behavior sometimes. Anyhow, in between, let's see what alert 9 does. It displays 9. So in between these brackets, you have something called the arguments. The argument is basically extra information that you're providing the function that will affect what the function will do. In the case of alert, since it's a very simple function, it just pops open that box and displays whatever you put into the arguments. So what you want to take away from this part of the video is that functions are formed by a name of the function, then you have the two brackets, and you may have optional arguments in between these brackets. What arguments you can put in here depends really on the particular function. And we're going to be looking at some built-in functions in JavaScript to get a better idea of what's this all about. As usual, if any of this is kind of confusing, don't worry about it. Just bear with me as we get into more examples and we start working with some of the built-in functions in JavaScript. You'll have a better understanding of this. And then later on in other videos, I'm going to actually show you how to create your own functions from scratch. And I'll tell you why you'd want to do this, and you're going to see the advantages. That's when the JavaScript programming starts to get interesting. So to recap our introduction to functions, functions are like mini programs in a program, the big program being the JavaScript engine. Functions provide packaged up functionality that are there to basically make it easy for you to do all kinds of different things. We saw some built-in functions like the alert, and we're going to look at something called index of very soon. Besides built-in functions, JavaScript allows you to create your own functions from scratch, which we're going to address in another video. Custom functions are a great way to wrap up a bunch of useful JavaScript code into a virtual container, the virtual container being the function, so that it is more easily used in your scripts and it can be used over and over again. Again, we'll get into custom functions in our part 2 on functions. And now let's jump into playing with some different functions, including index of, and we'll see how different types of arguments will work in this regard, and it will make it a lot more clear.